Welcome to the NCAA Softball Super Regionals, presented by Capital One. The line building before the game here in Texas. McCombs Field is a hot ticket for a winner-take-all Super Regional Game 3 between Arizona State and second-seeded Texas. It's been an epic start to this Super Regional with the unseeded Sun Devils rolling into Austin and storming past the Longhorns 4-1 in a 10-strikeout complete game of the opener from Kenzie Brown. The big swings by Reese Atwood and the pinch hitter Victoria Hunter gave Texas a little late game Longhorn magic, a 4-3 win to send us to this decisive third game. And it has been a preposterously wacky Super Regional round where at 4:30 Eastern on Sunday, we still don't know 3 of the 4 teams in half the bracket. Tennessee's going there. Texas Tech leads big on Florida. Mississippi State right now shocking the nation and shutting out Oklahoma. The other side is set with some heavy hitters. Bama, UCLA, Arkansas, and Nebraska all headed to OKC. Who will join them from here? Kevin Brown, 2-time All-American, Amanda Scarborough. It's a Texas team that is the defending champ. Arizona State trying to get to the World Series for the first time in 8 years. And it's going to be an epic conclusion to this epic weekend of softball.
It only seems fitting for what this season has brought to us. A ton of parity, a lot of offense that we've seen in the other 2 games that are still going on right now. We've seen, though, some low-scoring, tight games because we have 2 of the best pitchers that are left standing with Tegan Cavan and Kenzie Brown.
Well, Texas is left standing because of some more Game 2 thrills. Once again, the Longhorns drop Game 1. Once again, the Longhorns rally late in Game 2. Mike White's team forcing the decisive third game.
What is it about this Texas team and scoring late in the game? They like to save their best offense until the 5th inning, which is what they did last night with a Reese Atwood 2-strike hit up the middle of the field. They scored 2 in the 5th and then 2 in the 6th on the Vic Hunter pinch hit home run to give them the lead. They would go on to secure the victory. That Vic Hunter swing was the biggest swing of the Super Regional yet.
And the Longhorns have won 3 consecutive Game 3s in the Super Regionals, 2022, 4, and 5. Each of those years, they made it out of Supers all the way to the Champ Series. Tegan Cavan will get the ball today after 2 ineffective starts, trying to lock it in here in Game 3. She'll face an All-American on the other side, Kenzie Brown. And as Megan Bartlett told us before the game, Amanda, it is her game, her season to win or lose.
Well, a lot of people didn't know about Kenzie Brown going into her senior season, but if you paid attention and followed her last year in her first team All-American season as a junior, you knew what to expect, especially when she is healthy. She got healthy at the end of April and into May and has had one of the best Mays of any pitchers in the NCAA tournament, an ERA of just 1.20, and then hitters are hitting under 200 against her in May. This is going to be the biggest game of her life that she's about to pitch in.
2 All-Americans, 2 of the nation's best pitchers in the circle, 2 of the nation's proudest programs, Arizona State and Texas. Only one will feel that Oklahoma dirt. Capital One starting lineup for the champions of the Big 12 tournament, the Arizona State Sun Devils. Sam Swan, the go-ahead home run in the 5th yesterday, did not turn out to be the game winner, but she has been the breadwinner for this offense, driving in 9, including 5 of Arizona State's 7 here in the Super Regional. That's the lineup for head coach Megan Bartlett, and her Sun Devils are ready to go. Tegan Cavan with a first pitch strike to Tanya Wendell. 71 miles per hour out of the right arm of last year's Women's College World Series Most Outstanding Player. We are underway at 3:35 Central. The winner to the World Series, the loser to next season.
Tegan Cavan had been so hot herself. We talked about Kenzie Brown in the month of May. That's how Tegan Cavan had been. She had been one of the hottest arms, tough to hit against, not giving up many runs. After that SEC tournament championship that she pitched Texas to just a couple of weeks ago, but Arizona State has had great at-bats off of her in both the starts in Game 1 and Game 2.
Tanya Wendell, the senior, began her career at Utah Tech. Well, ended as a Sun Devil. She's reached base in 12 in a row. And Wendell takes a rise ball up and out of the zone. The velocity certainly very good for Cavan early. She lasted only 2 innings yesterday. 3 hits, 2 walks, 2 runs, and stunningly did not strike out a batter. For the first time this season, no Ks for Cavan. A little flare to left field. Here comes Kyle Altmaier, and it lands in front of her. A leadoff base hit for the Sun Devil Wendell.
Well, Tegan Cavan is known for her rise ball, but it's been the development of her changeup at her career at Texas. Now a junior, and that changeup has got hitters out in front. She'll bring it down to 70 with the changeup, but she'll go up in the zone with 10 inches of vertical break with her rise ball. There's been a big focus with her drop down and her changeup down to complement that rise ball. It is her go-to pitch. She will throw it 70% of the time. High heat up in the zone and down in the zone with the drop at 70 plus.
Kaylee Pond rips one to right field, a sizzling line drive from Pond. It ends up and out on what may have been the hardest hit ball of this Super Regional.
I think it's going to be really important for Arizona State to have quality at bats, put some pressure on Texas early in this game, because Arizona State had the lead because of Swan coming up to the plate now and the home run that she hit. They gave up that lead late, felt a little deflated when they left the field yesterday. So the best way to combat that against the defending national champs is to come out and score early, get on the board first, put pressure on them.
Well, here is Sam Swan, who's driven in 5 of the 7 Arizona State runs, 4 for 6, a walk and a homer in the Super. And Cavan does something that Texas hasn't done much. She goes inside on Sam Swan.
It's been really interesting how Texas and other opponents in the month of May have pitched Samantha Swan, trying to work her low and away, and she's had a lot of success on that pitch, including all of her extra base hits in the month of May.
1-1 for the star catcher. A little tapper. Cavan will field it and get the out at first. Wendell over to second, but Cavan retires Swan, and there are 2 away. Arizona State 45-17 on the year, finished just 6th in the Big 12, 11-13 in the conference for Megan Bartlett's team, which got hot late. Swept the top 3 seeds in the Big 12 tournament. Ashley Mejia, last one foul, straight back for strike 1. One lineup change today. A flip of Mejia and Emily Shep in the 4 and 6 spots. Mejia had a couple of doubles in Game 1 and an RBI. Both of those against Tegan Cavan. And Mejia is behind 0-2. Arizona State has been pretty darn good in these spots. 6 for 16 in the Supers with runners in scoring position. They didn't have a runner in scoring position for the last 4 innings yesterday, except for the solo homer by Swan. Citlali Gutierrez retired the final 8. 0-2 pitch. And it's ball 1 outside. Directly deemed by Scott Mayer, who has the plate in this decisive Game 3.
A couple of great takes by Arizona State with 2 strikes in this inning against Kavan, a strikeout pitcher. Arizona State's chase rate with 2 strikes in the Super Regional is 76%. That is extremely high in Game 1 and Game 2.
Mejia swings and misses. After a strikeoutless Game 2, Kavan gets a K to end a scoreless first in Game 3.
When she's smiling like that, you know Tegan Kavan is feeling good. Throwing to her best friend back behind the plate, Reese Atwood, who is so fired up to get that first K.
Texas Longhorns starting lineup brought to you by Capital One. Katie Stewart and Reese Atwood. RBI hits in the 5th inning yesterday to tie the game. They've combined for 130 homers, 487 RBIs, the most by any duo in Texas history. They are national champions, and they are going to go up against Kenzie Brown, starting for a 2nd time, pitching for a 3rd time, a Game 1 winner who took the loss in Game 2 and is looking to extend her career from Austin to OKC.
Kenzie Brown is truly one of the best in the game. She got drafted to play in the AUSL. She's going to throw a rise ball. That is her go-to pitch. She'll go down with her drop ball that she'll throw at 70 and as an off-speed pitch, and then she will also work in her changeup. So 2 different versions of an off-speed pitch, one with her off-speed drop ball and then one with her changeup. That rise ball, again, is going to come in at 70+ miles an hour. Drop and her changeup are her best swing and miss pitches down in the zone, and she is, just like Tegan Kavan, a strikeout pitcher.
Starts the game with Caden Henry. And starts the game with ball 1. Henry, couple of hits, 2 for 6, a double and a walk in this series. We talk about All-Americans often in this matchup. Caden Henry could certainly be one. 413 on the year, OPS over 1150. Henry is reaching base nearly half the time, and she's upped her power game. 17 doubles lead the Longhorns and 8 home runs from a player who only hit 9 home runs in her entire high school career. She's added more power each and every season, now her 3rd in Texas. 2-0 from Brown. Oh, goodness, that hits Henry in the helmet. A frightening start as Caden Henry jogs down to first base. And she shows the crowd that she feels just fine. Texas will send out a coach to check on her, though.
Trying to go up and in with this rise ball, goes off the bill of her hat, or her helmet, excuse me. Check it in to make sure that she is okay. You have speed at first base if she is able to stay in.
Member of the Texas staff looking at Henry right now, applying pressure to the helmet. Athletic trainers are taught to go through the concussion protocol in these moments, and it appears that Kaiden has passed. She has reached base all 3 games now to lead off the game. We haven't seen Texas officially attempt to steal yet. They've run on some pitches that have been put in play or knocked foul. Let's see if Henry indeed does that here with Katie Stewart, the batter. And the first pitch is an off-speed strike to Stewart, who has just 1 hit in this Super Regional.
When we've seen Texas be aggressive early in the count against the first pitch against Kenzie Brown, so she drops in that changeup, but a high first pitch swing rate that they've had both in her start and her relief appearance last night.
Stewart had a first pitch double against her in the 5th inning. And 1 hit, a big one. RBI double put Texas on the board as she gets back-to-back off-speed pitches on the outside edge. Katie Stewart, 4th in the nation in home runs, 8th in slugging percentage. She was named the SEC Player of the Year. Texas has really struggled in these spots, though, all series long. Up and away for ball 1.
Texas head coach Mike White talked about how Kenzie Brown has just not made very many mistakes against these Texas hitters. There's one to Hannah Wells and her home run in game 1. And maybe a couple last night, but she's been really stingy, and she is one of the best 2-strike pitchers in the country.
Brown's 1-2. That's in the dirt. The Texas Longhorns, the number 2 overall seed, the 2nd highest seed they've ever had. They were the number 1 overall a couple of years ago. Last year won the title as a 6th seed. Champions of the SEC tournament. And 1 win from OKC. Stewart chases strike 3, and Kenzie Brown responds from the leadoff hit by pitch with a K of Katie Stewart.
You could tell exactly what Kenzie Brown wanted to do in this at-bat against Stewart. Go low and away and off-speed, and she gets the chase with 2 strikes on that off-speed drop ball well out of the zone. That is a big strikeout and confidence builder for Brown after that hit by pitch.
Strikeout number 262 on this exceptional year for Kenzie Brown as she pours in strike 1 to Viviana Martinez. Junior from the state of Arizona, who missed last year due to a knee injury, has been right in the middle of Texas's NCAA tournament success. Martinez down to 3rd, picked by Emily Shep, who gets 1 and make it 2. A critical error for Shep yesterday opened the door for Texas in the 5th, but today she starts an inning-ending double play in the 1st.
This game is going to test you, and Emily Shep just answered the test. She aced it, in fact. 1 pitch, 2 outs, helping out Kenzie Brown after that leadoff hit by pitch. Shep was all over it, attacked that ground ball.
The NCAA Softball Super Regionals are presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Welcome back to Austin, Texas, Game 3 between Arizona State and the Texas Longhorns. And the hero, the reason for a Game 3 on this Sunday afternoon, not even found in the Texas lineup. Pinch hitter Vic Hunter, who had the go-ahead home run yesterday to give Texas their first lead of this Super Regional and eventually the win in Game 2 to force a Game 3 today. I caught up with her before the game and I said, "What makes you such a good pinch hitter?" She said, "I have learned to focus so much on my breath work. I have to keep my heart rate down, so when my name is called, there's no panic. It's just adrenaline and excitement. When my name's called, I'm ready."
Well, she has been ready time and again. Alyssa had a pinch hit RBI single to get Texas on the board in the SEC Championship. Remember 2 years ago, a pinch hit grand slam in Game 1 of the Supers here against A&M. No doubt in a big spot, Vic Hunter will be called upon again by Mike White. A scoreless game as we hit the second, and Tegan Cavan works to Katie Chester. Talked to some of the Texas players earlier in the week. Reese Atwood said we're better this year because of the depth we have. That's an example, the depth they can go to off the bench with Victoria Hunter. Chester's had a quiet Super Regional. 0 for 4 with a couple of walks. Katie Chester is one home run away still from tying Sid Sanders' single-season Arizona State home run record. A proud power-hitting program history as Chester knocks one foul.
And that's crazy to look at ASU's Super Regional numbers and see that Katie Chester has been quiet, Ashley Mejia has been quiet, and so is Emily Shep. Three hitters right there in the middle of the order for ASU that have yet to do a lot of damage. Are they going to wake up today?
Chester with a line drive out to short. Tegan Cavan has retired 4 in a row off of a leadoff single. Wasn't much of a question for Mike White. He was going to go back to his ace, who's only thrown 7 innings in the first 2 games of the Super Regional, thrown 137 pitches over the 2 games. Kenzie Brown, in comparison, has thrown 10 innings and 144 pitches, so both aces are in fairly similar spots, so Tegan's thrown a little less. There's a foul ball off the end of the bat of Emily Shep. We've seen Tegan Cavan struggle in some different ways in this series, Amanda. What do you expect from Tegan Cavan in Game 3, and what tweaks can she make based on the first 2 games?
I expect her to show up and be the Tegan Cavan that we have seen in the NCAA tournament before Super Regionals and then all of the 2025 NCAA tournament through the World Series. And that means that she's getting swings and misses on her rise ball. She is effectively going down the zone at the knees with her drop ball, and she also is throwing her changeup low in the zone and not leaving that pitch up in the zone where ASU can hunt it and look for mistakes up.
Shep down the line at third. That's a fair ball. Got a piece of the changeup, and Emily Shep, dropped in the batting order, responds with her first hit of the Supers.
Well, and I think that was just an Emily Shep coming to the plate that is like, I am going to do whatever it takes to find a way to get on. That changeup wasn't at a bad height at all. Good pitch, but just Emily Shep going up that is resilient. I guarantee she went up saying, I am going to find a way to get on base today and contribute to this offense in Game 3 of the Super.
A transfer from Arizona, who has the second Sun Devil hit, and now a ball slapped through the left side by Yaya Acuna. Acuna 3 for 6 with a walk in the Supers, and on back-to-back pitches, Arizona State puts 2 runners on.
That ball was hit hard past JC Nichols. JC Nichols was halfway up the line expecting a bunt, and Acuna just slaps it past her to get 2 on for ASU. And the one thing to note, too, we talked about this in Game 1 and Game 2, ASU has seen a lot of rise ball pitchers in the month of May. I think that they're just very comfortable against a rise ball pitcher like Cavan because of the experience that they've had against some of the best rise ball pitchers in the country before this.
Finally, a swing and a miss on that rise ball. It's Brooklyn Ulrich. We had the best at-bat of the Supers yesterday, a 10-pitch battle against Cavan, ending in an RBI double. That was in the second inning to open the scoring. And the lifelong Sun Devil fan can do so again. One pitch.
And I think when Tegan Cavan sees that swing and miss on her rise ball, it starts to fill that confidence cup inside of her. It starts to give her momentum. It starts to give her a positive mindset that she can continue to get those swings and misses. So that first rise ball swing and miss against Ulrich, I think, was big in this inning.
Ulrich does not strike out despite a Reese Atwood roar, a pitch that looked perfectly over at the knees.
This has got to be called. This is a strike right at the knees. I think that gets the bottom of the zone. It's definitely right down the heart of the plate. We have to have that be a called strike there.
Scott Mayer, the plate umpire, missed it. Ulrich gets a reprieve and Atwood takes time.
Well, now Reese Atwood is going to go out and talk to her, just understanding how important this at-bat is for Tegan Cavan. And we talked about that swing and miss with the rise ball, and she just missed that drop ball down in the zone there. She wants to make sure that Tegan Cavan is in the best headspace to continue this momentum that she's built even within this at-bat here.
2 on, 1 out. Ulrich swings and misses. A little extra work, even more satisfying for Cavan.
This relationship that Cavan and Atwood have is just so special. The way that she went out to talk to her, probably, I believe in you, still go at her with your best stuff. Look at how Reese Atwood just gives her eye contact after that strikeout. She knows what she is capable of, and it's getting the chase like that.
Got nearly every one of Tegan's games in 3 years. And now the 9-hitter, Tiare Ho-Ching, well late on that rise ball. Ho-Ching had a 6-game hit streak snapped yesterday. Overall numbers are okay, but the tournament numbers are terrific. She had a couple of hits off Cavan on Friday night. In the dirt, Atwood gets a backhand to it. Shep at second and Acuna at first. Hold with 2 outs in this scoreless game.
You know, the one thing to think about with a lower zone is how tall Reese Atwood is back behind the plate. So I'll be interested to see as this game goes on, with Sam Swan being 5'3", only back behind the plate, and Reese Atwood being 6 foot, does that affect the strike zone at all for the home plate umpire? We have 2 different catchers that are completely different heights, and Tegan Cavan and Kinsey Brown throw very similarly. Both lean on their rise ball, both go down with their drop ball. I'm interested to see, though, with a different size catcher, if we're able to get the bottom of the zone with Swan catching for ASU.
Now here's a visit from Patty Ruth Taylor, Texas's pitching coach. Tegan Cavan has had precious few easy innings in this Super Regional.
One of the things that head coach Mike White says that they continue to emphasize to Tegan is that sometimes when she feels like she's not in control, they remind her that she is. You're in control of your best pitch, which is your next pitch. Sometimes as a player you can get stuck in looking at who's on deck, the game itself. One pitch at a time has been their biggest message to her.
And she's struggled a little bit, Alyssa, through the month of April. Cavan, like a lot of these Longhorns, hit a bit of a midseason skid. Was really roaring out of it in May until running into Arizona State. These are the numbers in games 1 and 2. And 2 on here in the second of game 3 as Cavan misses wide. That first inning to open the series was an 11-pitch, 11-strike, 1-2-3 inning. Cavan has allowed a base runner in all 8 of the innings since. 3-1 for Ho-Ching. And a strike moved in there to run the count full.
That mindset is so important for a pitcher, is to continually work on, to stay positive.
The runners will go, Shep and Acuna. Ho-Ching takes in the dirt. Ball forward, loads the bases. Cavan's first walk, flips the lineup card over to Tanya Windle.
It's a great at bat by Ho Ching to take some pitches there, make Tegan Kavan work, not chase like Brooklyn Ulrich did in the at bat before her.
And Windle, the senior from Peoria, has the moment of her college softball life. Began her career at Utah Tech. Arizona State hosted the first ever softball camp she went to. Fell in love with the school and transferred there after her first year in college. She has the bases full in the second as she grounds the ball to first and Stewart. Arizona State gets 3 runners and strands them all. Still scoreless in game 3. Kenzie Brown has come a long, long way. Her first year at Tulsa. Megan Bartlett desperately wanted to get her to Ball State, where she was coaching before taking the Texas assistant job. She goes to Tulsa for a year, transfers to Arizona State, missed her second year there due to an ankle injury. Bounced back brilliantly. First team All-American a year ago, 128 ERA, 289 strikeouts, and has continued to grow this year, becoming a third-round pick of the Portland Cascade in the AUSL draft. Brown comes from Lake City, Illinois, a tiny, tiny town of about 60 people. Had a 6.78 ERA as a freshman in Tulsa. It is hard to believe, Amanda, what she's become.
Well, and she's battled through injury, too. Even this season, you saw that she missed a season with that ankle reconstruction, actually, but she was injured earlier this season. I think that's what you see, that March ERA inflated, but took some time to get healthy, and you saw April, she rebounded and has pitched her best of the season in the month of May.
A big batter here with Reese Atwood, and an off-speed strike starts her 0-1. Hard to believe when you look at the numbers and where Kenzie Brown came from, but not hard to believe for Megan Bartlett. She said when she saw Kenzie Brown at age 15, she said, I looked at her and told her she was going to be a professional.
Well, it's almost like she saw this month coming. Before the Big 12 tournament, Megan Bartlett had said, I'm excited to see what she's going to do in the final month of her career here. Went on to win the Big 12 tournament, went on to upset the number 15 national seed in College Station against Texas A&M, and now she's here. Complete game, game 1 against a 2 seed.
Atwood with a high drive to center field. Does it have enough distance? Not quite. Warning track power for Reese Atwood, the all-time Texas home run leader, and Brown gets the first out of the second.
Well, I think, Kevin, that she's absolutely thriving working under John Bartlett, the pitching coach for Arizona State. He had come from Oklahoma State, where he was an assistant and then a longtime head coach at Tulsa. John Barkfeld is one of the best pitch callers in the game.
Leanne Good with a pop-up on the first pitch. That's an out for Chester. 4 pitches, 2 outs for Brown. Megan Bartlett was the head coach at Ball State 2016 to 2020. Said, I begged her to be a Cardinal. Midwest kid. We lost her to Tulsa, she said, who was the top 25 team at the time. Megan Bartlett comes to Texas, was an assistant right here on the 40 acres for 2 years, got the Arizona State job, and got Kenzie Brown. First pitch strike to Hannah Wells.
Well, and I'm thinking even after the Big 12 tournament championship game, Jerry Glasgow, the head coach at Texas Tech, just sang her praises. He had said in that post-game presser that Kenzie Brown is the best pitcher that we had faced even last year through their World Series run. He thinks that she truly is one of the best in the game right now.
That's off the corner to Hannah Wells, who took her deep in game 1, the only run Texas scored in the opener. That is the only hit for Wells in the series. The Gatorade National Player of the Year a season ago in high school. A big rip and a miss, and it's 1-2. Brown was so efficient in the first game, a complete game on only 94 pitches. Looking to rip through the second on just 18 pitches total. And Wells is frozen on a called third strike. Brown hops off the mound with some pep in her step. She has not allowed a hit through 2.
It's early, but everything seems to be working right now for Brown. Look at her pop out this changeup right at the knees, paints the inside corner. 3 up, 3 down for the All-American.
Memorial Day matinee in Major League Baseball tomorrow afternoon as the Yankees head to Kansas City to take on the Royals. First pitch set for 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Central on ESPN and streaming on the ESPN app. A couple of thousand fans and at least one Longhorn for Arizona State and Texas. Winner to the Women's College World Series. Kaylee Pond leads off against Tegan Cavan, and Pond takes a sharp drop ball for a strike. 3 hits, a walk, 4 runners, all left on base so far for Arizona State. Megan Bartlett said we need to create pressure from the start against Cavan, and that's exactly what they've done. We've got some big hitters to create some pressure here. Pond, Swan, and Mejia. They're 2, 3, 4. Kaylee Pond just 1 for 8 in the series. Hit an absolute rocket out to right field her first time. And a ground ball to first here, picked by Katie Stewart for out number 1.
Well, Texas has to feel good about the fact that Tegan Cavan is settling into this game, has a couple of strikeouts, and also knowing how well Citlali Gutierrez has pitched in this series, that she'll be able to have Cavan's back. Citlali Gutierrez has maybe looked the best in her career with the way that she pitched yesterday in relief, and also in game 1 pitched a couple of innings. But they have not seen Hannah Wells, the freshman pitcher for Texas, either. Who they're very, I mean, that would be a little risky move, right? Bring in the freshman who hasn't thrown in supers, but it would be a different look that ASU has not seen yet, and Texas can potentially really flex the depth of their pitching staff with those different looks.
Samantha Swan, a ground out back to Cavan her first time. And she punches this one toward Martinez, the Texas shortstop, for the second out. Tiffany, welcome to McCombs Field in Austin, Texas. Arizona State and second-seeded Texas are in a scoreless game. And just a couple of minutes ago, you could probably hear the roar all the way in Norman from the folks here in Austin when they were informed of the Mississippi State scoreline. A dramatic pause by the PA announcer between Mississippi State 6 and OU 0, and these Longhorn fans now can only worry about their game. They need to beat an unseeded team or risk falling out of the World Series field as well, as Ashley Mejia pops up to left. Tegan Cavan, 1-2-3 third inning. Great pitching matchup we've got for you here. We'll tell our new audience about it when we return to Austin. Oklahoma with a 4-peat, and Texas last year. OU is out, shut out by unseeded Mississippi State, which truly makes you feel like anything is possible in this sport this time of year. Kevin Brown, Amanda Scarborough, another unseeded team in Arizona State trying to knock out another defending champ.
Is Texas, the defending national champ, going to be there or not? I mean, we have seen low-scoring games. For all the offense that we saw in super regionals and in regionals, we have not seen that here in Austin because we have two of the best pitchers in the country going head-to-head, two All-Americans that have kept low-scoring games.
Kenzie Brown versus Tegan Cavan, the matchup. One of these teams will join this list, a list that for the first time includes Mississippi State. Sam Ricketts, out of the Oklahoma program, takes her Bulldogs into Norman, and they shut out Oklahoma 6-0. The first time Oklahoma has been shut out in 2,548 days. since the 2019 World Series semis against Alabama. A 0-0 game here as Ashton Maloney takes a strike. I know that that game just finished, and I know that there was plenty of coverage there, but I just want to get your reaction to what just happened in Norman.
Just shocking. And Delaney Everett, have yourself a day. Battled through injuries, got the ball, pitched well in the Super Regional earlier on against OU, but to shut down that offense in Norman is we just haven't seen that in how many days? Over
2,548.
I mean, props to her and Mississippi State. So much fight. I am blown away at that news. And Texas fans, as you mentioned, were excited. Texas players were cheering and kind of jumping up and down as well when that news came in.
Delaney Everett had thrown 12 innings on the year coming into this weekend and shuts out Oklahoma. People love to throw the word unbelievable around. Those of us who are literal about vocabulary don't love the word unbelievable. This is enough to even melt a literalist's heart. This one is really hard to fathom what Mississippi State has done here, and congratulations to them as Oklahoma misses the World Series for the first time since 2015. Third inning here will start with a Texas hit. Ashton Maloney moved up in the lineup yesterday, has responded with a hit in all 3 games, and a leadoff runner on against Kenzie Brown.
We're seeing just some hitter's luck at times in this Super Regional, and this is perfect placement off the bat of Maloney. She has great speed. This is what we've seen from her entire career at Texas. Good barrel control, put the ball on the ground, find a way to get on to lead off this inning for Texas.
And if you're just joining us in the Super Regional, getting runners on to lead off innings has not been the issue for Texas. That ball sliced foul by Kaya Altmaier. The Longhorns are just 4 for 27 now with runners on base. There's Mike White, who's taken Texas to a Super Regional for a 7th consecutive time. Texas 7 straight Supers, the second longest streak in the country, only behind the aforementioned Oklahoma Sooners. The Longhorns, the national champs a year ago. Altmaier behind 0-2.
And with Kenzie Brown in the circle, she's going to be more up in the zone. Her rise ball is her most used pitch. She can bring it at 70 miles an hour. We have 2 very good rise ball pitchers that throw 70, 71 up in the zone. But what's really set her apart in this month of May, when she's just been on fire, is her ability to go down with a drop ball at 70 and also with an off-speed drop ball too to get hitters to chase.
Altmaier out of play.
And something that we learned about Kenzie Brown just yesterday was that she taught herself this off-speed drop ball that has been so effective for her. So she's able to change speeds in 2 different ways. She has a normal change-up, but she also has an off-speed drop ball down the zone that has this tailed down and just falls off the table, a pitch she literally taught herself in January.
Altmaier with 4 straight foul balls. Texas had not fouled off a pitch against Brown in the first 2 innings. A good fight for Kaya Altmaier, who's a transfer from Arizona. Had seen a few Kenzie Brown pitches and very familiar with this Arizona State team over her first 3 years. Had a base hit yesterday, back in the starting lineup in Game 3. And Altmaier flips one just wide of Mike White for another foul ball.
On Thursday, when we talked to several of the Texas players, knowing that Kaya Altmaier had history, of course, with Arizona State and seeing Kenzie Brown, we asked them, has Kaya given you guys any tips? And they wasted no time to answer, oh yeah, right away. That experience always helps, especially against a pitcher like Kenzie Brown, who Texas just has not seen except for Kaya Altmaier.
And we're seeing her for a 13th inning of the weekend now. Time call to the plate. Altmaier has fouled off the first 5 pitches here in the number 8 spot for Texas. And Altmaier takes one in the dirt.
A lot of respect on the pull side in right field. Look at where Mejia is. And this big shift over toward the left side where Pond is playing in left center field. I mean, just a really interesting outfield shift, big holes on the grass.
He is awfully deep for a player with no home runs. Altmaier had 5 in each of her previous 2 years, does not have a home run this year. And around 120 plate appearances.
He's out there with the fans in the outfield, basically.
I'm sure being very kind.
I'm sure. Very hospitable.
8-pitch coming. That's a fly ball into shallow left. Acuna in that. Schiff makes the catch. Yaya Acuna's got the first out to end an 8-pitch battle by Altmaier.
When we've just seen Kenzie Brown mix the ball around so well against these Texas hitters. We saw it in her complete game, 10 strikeout win in game 1. We saw her come in relief and actually lost the lead to Texas late in the game. Vic Hunter hit a pinch hit home run, but she mixes the ball so well with the rise, drop, changing speed, just not staying in one place for too long at all.
JC Nichols, freshman. Shows butt, pulls back on ball 1 out of the 9 spot.
Well, and she keeps going to her towel, too, trying to keep her hand as dry as possible. It is a very hot day. There is no wind when we went down on the field. It is humid. We started sweating, and we were just standing there on the field. So when you're pitching, that can really get to you.
Attempted foul by Nichols, 1-1.
It's a different type of heat here for Arizona. Of course, Arizona is really hot, triple digits, but here with the way that the weather has been the past couple of days, it's been really humid, more like feeling like Houston instead of Austin. Austin is usually a little bit more dry like Tempe, but it's been very humid here.
Feels like 91 at the moment. A 1-1 to Nichols. Again, moves the hand up the bat for a bunt. Trine again takes a ball. It's 2-1. One of the big changes from last year's title team was that Mia Scott graduated. Nichols, a freshman, replaced her. All-tournament team in the SEC tournament run. Tegan Cavan said she's probably the smartest player on our team. Maloney's at first. Nichols takes strike 2.
And we talked about this lower pitch in the zone. Tegan Cavan did not get a couple of them earlier in the game. Reese Atwood, her catcher, is 6 feet tall. The catcher for Kenzie Brown, Sam Swan, she's 5'3". So a lower target, easier for the umpire to see down in the zone at the knees, a pitch that both Brown and Cavan like to go to and is an important pitch for them.
And now Kenzie Brown is walking into the dugout. That might be the Watch S device that Brown uses to get the pitch calls.
That's right.
Well, tonight here on ESPN, Game 3 of the Western Conference Final as the Golden Knights look to take a 3-0 lead on the Colorado Avalanche. 8 Eastern, 7 Central, right here on ESPN and the ESPN app. Vegas winning the first 2 games on the road in the Western Conference Finals. So 2-2 now for Nichols, 1 on, 1 out. And Nichols a ground ball through the box for a base hit. Tried the bunt for 4 pitches, that didn't work. A soft slap will do just fine, and Texas has 2 on.
These at-bats are getting good down at the bottom of the order against Kenzie Brown. This is a changeup that's left over the heart of the plate, and Nichols is just able to punch it through, but Nichols struck out 3 times against Kenzie Brown in game 1. Kaya Altmaier's at bat really made her work, and so did Nichols. Texas has a little something going here to turn over the order.
Megan Bartlett had a question for Scott Mayer, the plate umpire. Might have had to do with a pitch timer. Megan was pointing to her wrist. Quickly resolved, and it's 2 on, 1 out for Caden Henry. The Longhorns leadoff hitter takes a strike.
Another example of a low pitch. I really think this is going to be a developing story as this game goes on. Just the lower pitches in the zone that Brown can get because of Swan's height and small target versus Reese Atwood and with Tegan Cavan.
Another low one. Didn't get it there. Farther off the plate, and it's 1-1 to Henry, who's reached base 4 out of 8 times in this Super Regional. The only Longhorn to start every game at the same position this year. All 58 of them in center field. The 1-1 pitch. Henry started a bunt and takes ball 2.
He's feeling like Texas's at-bats are really good in this inning. Ever since I feel like the national broadcast has joined us, Kenzie Brown it seems like lost some steam a little bit. Really sharp in inning number 1, 3 up, 3 down in inning number 2. Has a couple of strikeouts, but really laboring in this inning.
Swing and a miss. She fires back there to even the count.
It's a big low-rise ball on the outside corner to get that swing and miss.
More pitches here in the third than those first 2 combined. A laborious third inning in this winner-take-all Game 3. Right down the middle for strike 3. Henry frozen on a pitch, middle away, and it is a critical third strikeout for Kenzie Brown.
Brown can locate her rise ball at different levels. You see that backward rotation right at the knees. She can expand the zone up for the chase at the eyes, and she can paint that corner low and away too. And that's what's so tough. That low rise ball can tunnel very well with her changeup, and her drop ball just froze Caden Henry despite her hanging out on that outside corner the entire at bat.
John Bartfeld, the decorated pitching coach who came out of his semi-retirement to join Arizona State, is out in the circle. Just in case things get squirrely, yesterday's starter, Mika Lupi, who did not allow an earned run in 4+ innings, has been working and is in the bullpen.
John Bartfeld has done such a great job with the pitching staff. This is his first year on staff with ASU, but plenty of experience calling pitches against Texas whenever he was the pitching coach at Oklahoma State, and this is his ERA calling pitches with the pitching staffs on both Oklahoma State and ASU, a sub-2 ERA against in 21 and up to this point, one of the best offenses that we've seen over the past 5 to 6 years.
Well, he and Kenzie are going to have to get it absolutely right, because the SEC Player of the Year, Katie Stewart, stands in the batter's box. And Stewart on the first pitch sends one into shallow center. Kaylee Pond cannot make the catch. Here comes Nichols. The second run scores. Katie Stewart drops in a 2-run single in front of the very deep Pond. And Texas strikes first in the third and decisive game of this Super.
This went about 150 feet. We're used to seeing Katie Stewart get RBIs on 300-foot home runs. Kaylee Pond did everything that she could to make that play. She covers so much ground, but especially with 2 outs, the runners are going to be running. They don't have to hold up. Pond is so good in center field, but could not catch that one when Stewart got jammed.
Vivi Martinez now with a ground ball to right. Stewart turns the bag at second and takes third. Runners at the corners as Stewart tumbles into the base. 2 runs in, 2 more out there for Texas. The at-bats have trended up over the last couple of games against Kenzie Brown. And Reese Atwood, the all-time home run and RBI leader for the University of Texas, can deliver a real hammer blow. Atwood ready to rip.
Well, and Texas has been so aggressive on the first pitch against Kenzie Brown. It's been at about a 60% first pitch swing rate in her start and also in relief. Their average on the year first pitch swing is 25%. They've been so aggressive against her.
Up and in that hitter. Atwood is grazed and Atwood is aboard. Hit by a pitch for the 4th time this year, and Texas loads the bases for Leanne Good.
Well, and that hit by pitch then went right into Swan as well, so she's feeling it. Megan Bartlett's going to go out and check on her, but it looked like it went right into her throwing arm off of the body of Reese Atwood. And this is a Major situation for Leanne Good, who has struggled in this super regional, but she has a chance to break it open despite striking out 5 times so far in this 2 games.
Strike 1 to Good. Another low pitch goes the way of Brown and Swan. Leanne Good just 1 hit in the NCAA tournament. 1 for 15. Does have a couple of walks. And she takes strike 2. A senior playing her last game at McCombs Field, hoping it will not be her last game as a Longhorn. Ground ball down to third. Sheps at the bag. Texas takes the lead. The SEC Player of the Year, Katie Stewart, drops one in front of that deep Kaylee Pond, and the Longhorns strike first.
Welcome back to the NCAA Softball Super Regionals presented by Capital One. Here with Arizona State head coach Megan Bartlett. Coach, just saw you addressing your team before they went out on the field. What did you say to them just now?
We knew this was going to be a hit-to-win game, and we're going to have to just keep putting pressure and battle. The momentum swings have been big all weekend, and that one fell their way. KP made a great effort on that ball and just kind of ran out of room, and that's elite-level softball. So,
saw Coach Barkfeld go out there and talk to Kenzie. What have y'all been saying to her throughout the course of this game?
just to work efficiently. The reality is it's really hot out here, and she and Tegan looks like are going to have a long day, so we're just trying to make sure she's staying in rhythm and spinning the ball.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.
That's Megan Bartlett, whose team has certainly had to battle through adversity this year. Heard her talk about that after the game yesterday in a post-game press conference. She said this whole season wasn't sparkles and sunshine. Lots of kids playing out of position, lots of injuries, lots of games where they had to lean on their bench. She said they're resilient, they're a feisty bunch, and they'll be ready to go. And now they need to push back after Texas took the first two, and Tegan Cavan gets a strike on Katie Chester.
Well, look, this is a team that's been playing with house money, in their words, that not expecting to be here, or maybe actually they had hopes of Oklahoma City, but nobody expecting them to be here. We're not supposed to be here. They are the underdog in this situation. I mean, you're always the underdog, you know, going up against a team, a program like Texas, but especially because they have the title next to their name as a defending national champs, you for sure are the underdog, especially as an unseeded team too.
Up and away, 2-1 for Katie Chester, who transferred to Arizona State before last year, transferred here after Arizona State had gone 3-21 2 years ago in the conference. been a heck of a rebuild for Megan Bartlett. This program obviously has such a rich softball tradition that it is hard to think of Arizona State underdog, 12 trips to the World Series, couple of national titles. But the cupboard was left pretty bare, as it is often when you have a coaching change. Tricia Ford left Arizona State, took over the Texas A&M job. Megan Bartlett leaves here in Austin as an assistant at Texas after 2 years. Took the Arizona State job, missed the postseason the first 2 years. Last year swept in the LA Regional, as that pitch is called a strike to the disbelief of Katie Chester.
Well, there also had to be disbelief when she took over the job and she didn't have any pitchers or catchers on her roster. That's where they started from at ASU.
Popped up by Chester and out of play. She said it was an immediate grab of as much talent as we could to put something on the field. And then the next summer, graduated a bunch of kids, needed a huge portal haul. The third summer, she felt like was finally when she got a team together that could compete. Started to build that culture, which she helped build here at Texas. 3-2. Up and in to get Chester swinging. Finally, a strikeout for Tegan Cavan on that rise ball, up and into a righty.
When she's getting chases and swings and misses on her rise ball this far out of the zone, you know that Tegan Cavan is in a good place. That rise ball is the pitch she's going to throw about 70% of the time. She has one of the best rise balls in the country.
And maybe, just maybe, for the first time since the opening few batters of game one, it looks like Tegan Cavan is settling into a groove. It's starting to look like the pitcher who had a streak of nearly 48 innings in the NCAA tournament without surrendering an earned run. Emily Shett with a high drive to left to try to change that. It's at the wall. It is reeled in. Altmaier against the fence. Takes away extra bases. They were college teammates at Arizona a year ago, and they are the best of enemies right now.
And it has been a revolving door for Texas out in left field. Mike White has shuffled around who he has started and finally put Altmaier out there for the Super Regional because of her experience. And that looked like an experienced outfielder tracking that ball down, finding the wall, and knowing that she could make it out on that play on her home field.
Flipped into right by Acuna. There's nobody there. Good tries to make a diving play, and Acuna will end up all the way at third. The ball skips away, and she'll stop at third. Altmaier had to back it up. There was nobody in right field because of the slapper Acuna, and she ends up with a 2-out triple.
Well, look at where the outfielders were. I was trying to get this on because of 1, 2, 3, and then who's it here? Nobody. And just a flare ends up going that way to a complete defensive shift, and Acuna beats it. Great effort by Good. She gloved that ball. She gave everything that she could to catch this, knowing that nobody was going to be there. And Acuna, with her wheels, goes all the way to third base. You talk about beating the shift, that is it right there.
Yaya Acuna's first triple of the season. Your run-of-the-mill triple to second. Tying run, Brooklyn Ulrich.
You got to answer back right here if you're Arizona State. You have to find some offensive momentum. They've been quiet late in the game, and yesterday when Texas came roaring back, and it's why Patty Ruth Taylor is going to go out and talk to Tegan Cavan, understanding the importance of this moment. Runner on third base, 2 outs. Texas just scored 2 runs. You do not want to let ASU grab some momentum here and get back into this game.
What a wild inning this has been. Shep robbed to the wall by Altmaier. Looked like she might have had a home run. The next pitch, a pretty routine shallow pop, ends up as a triple. It's only the 14th extra base hit for Acuna in her 4-year and 158-game career.
Big moment for Brooklyn Ulrich here as well, who was a hometown kid, was in the transfer portal, had another offer, wasn't sure what to do because she hadn't yet met Megan Bartlett and the staff. And Bartlett said, "You're going to be a Sun Devil. This is how it started. This is how it's going to finish." Met her 2 days later, and she was all in.
What a moment this is for her. For the kid who grew up, Melissa, dreaming of moments like this. Bleeding maroon and gold. Told the Arizona Central when I entered the portal, I said, I'm not playing anywhere but Arizona State. I'm going to go play there. Kid who had season tickets, she said, right in front of the press box. Told the paper it's met every expectation, every dream. She sent Arizona State to the Supers with a walk-off grand slam. And she takes ball 3, and once again, we've been on this, Amanda, the low pitches are going Arizona State's way with their 5'3" catcher, not with Reset, with a 6-foot catcher for Texas. So Ulrich in the driver's seat on 3-1.
And Brooklyn Ulrich was actually the last player to leave the dugout last night after the loss because she just wanted to sit in the emotion. So she was the last to leave, but first this morning to put her uniform on. Got a text at 10 a.m. this morning when she went down to breakfast. She was already game ready, the only one to have her uniform on ready for game 3.
And here she is nearly 7 hours later, still wearing that Sun Devil uniform with pride. 3-2. It is ball 4, no swing according to Matt Dial. Atwood wanted the pitch and wanted the swing. She got neither, and Arizona State gets another base runner.
This is what we're talking about, developing story going on. Brown is getting these low pitches in the zone. Tegan Cavan's maybe just being a little bit too low in the zone. That one did look low to me. Didn't get the check swing call either. But again, Reese Atwood is very tall target. More difficult for a home plate umpire to see that low pitch at the knees. But I did actually think that that one was a ball.
You think it was a swing?
I did not think it was a swing either.
In that case, job well done by Scott Mayer behind the plate. Matt Dial at third.
But you could see how bad Reese Atwood in Texas wanted that pitch. Of course, trying to pull that pitch up to the knees to help her pitcher.
Ho Ching back to Cavan in the circle, and that is that for the Sun Devils' 4th inning squall. A shutdown 4th inning for Tegan Cavan. Her Longhorns lead by 2.
Welcome back to Austin, Texas, here with Longhorns head coach Mike White. Coach, just watching that last inning of work from Tegan, what can she do to get some of those calls in the bottom of the zone?
Well, that's a good question. We need to kind of maybe ask them why we're not getting them both ways, and it seems like it's not going the other way. But again, I'm from the side. I'm up behind the plate. We got to trust he's calling the same way, but we got to work a little bit better maybe behind the plate.
How does your offense add a little bit more to this inning from what they've done so far?
Well, we just got to continue to focus like when it's tied. We can't look ahead and just start counting outs. We got to really play hard and be good with our selectors at the plate.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. Hook 'em.
Defense has been hit or miss in the outfield for Texas in this Super Regional. Each one of the outfielders has misplayed a ball. Caden Henry in game one, a ball hit. That would have been a great play, but Mike White expects the outfield to make that play. And this one out in left field as well. And then that was by Altmaier. And then we saw Ashton Maloney, who has been a mainstay in right field, misplay a ball as well. In game one and game two, struggled in the outfield, but this is game three. Season on the line, World Series on the line. Altmaier going up to grab that play and robbing Shep of extra bases.
Something that wasn't always a strength for Texas. You can see 10th in the SEC in fielding percentage, but the SEC is really good. They're 36th in the country in fielding percentage, and we've seen Mike White teams that have been well into the bottom half nationally in fielding percentage. They made it a little more of a priority in recent years, but a very strong group on the whole this season. And these fine margins are going the Longhorns' way today. Maybe not some of the pitches at the bottom of the zone that Mike White talked about, but they've got a 2-0 lead and a game where the winner advances to the World Series. The final ticket to punch for the Oklahoma City field. And yes, I know there are no tickets that get punched anymore, but we still love the phrase. If you want to say the final ticket to scan, we'll go with that too. Hannah Wells against Kenzie Brown. And Wells takes ball one.
Well, and those defense has been so important in this low-scoring pitchers duel Super Regional. We saw a lot of high-scoring game where just 10-7 or 16-7 or whatever it's going to be. But Emily Shep made an error at third base that cost Arizona State some runs. We saw the outfield play from Texas that cost Texas some runs. So that play by Altmaier is so key in this game where the margins are so thin.
Texas with yet another one-run win. 4 one-run wins in the Supers over the last 3 years, matching Tennessee, who's also got 4. A 2-run lead in the 4th inning here for the freshman Wells, who struck out and just gets her bat to this one. Rounds out to Shep at third.
Changeup was one of the slowest changeups that I've seen Kenzie Brown throw this weekend, dropping it down to 55 and getting Wells well out in front of that pitch.
Fourteenth inning over the weekend for Kenzie Brown. Ashton Maloney, an infield hit. Swing, miss. Brown has thrown a first pitch strike to every batter the second time through the lineup. The first pitch strikes today, 14 out of 16.
And on the year, that first pitch strike percentage is just 55%. So attacking the zone early.
Megan Bartlett told us before the game, it's her game. She's an All-American. It is her game to win or lose. Strike 2 on Maloney. Retired 6 of the first 7, but Texas has had better at-bats since then. Longhorns scored only 1 run in the first 11 innings at a Super Regional. They have 6 runs in the last 6. Maloney had a hit on a 1-2 count earlier. Tries to do so again, and Brown wisely lets it roll foul. Katie Chester is arguing that maybe she touched the ball, that Maloney may have run into the ball in fair territory, and Scott Mayer is not buying it. Megan Bartlett wants the umpires to discuss it.
Maybe asking too if it hit her bat, actually. Maybe not her, if it hit her bat, possibly. There's a lot going on here. Right there, a lot going on right here. Did look to me like it hit either, including not hitting Ashton Maloney, but Katie Chester came up very convinced to tell Megan Bartlett she thought it hit her.
Now the umpires have decided to let the call stand, so it remains 1-2. Final home game for Ashton Maloney, the fifth-year senior from Liberty, Missouri. All-SEC player a year ago. And she nearly strikes out. Swan can't hang on to the foul tip. Brown had started to roar.
That's what I was going to say. She had started the Kenzie Brown strikeout roar.
Each team has had a premature strikeout celebration today. 1-2 for Maloney. 248th career game. Has started all but two. 376 career hitter. Gets a piece of another. She can be such a tough at bat, Ashton Maloney. One of the top outfield recruits in the country coming out of high school. Suffered a knee injury and redshirted her first year. Has been a 4-year starter. Fifth most games played among active Division I players into today. 2-2.
The bottom of the lineup has done a nice job for Texas. They are, last night and today, 5 for 11. And what is also sticking out is not only the amount of hits that they've been getting, just the amount of pitches that they've made Kenzie Brown throw. A lot of long at bats here at the bottom of the order.
This will be an 8-2 Maloney. And she strikes out. Delayed gratification for Kenzie Brown, who gets her 4th K.
Pitching in her first super regional. You would never even know it with how poised she has been in game 1, in game 2, and game 3. And that's just something to always remember. This Texas team has so much postseason experience, and it's something that ASU does not have. This is their first super regional, not as a program, but that many of these players have played in. And it's just different. You step into a super regional, you pitch on the road at a super regional like Kenzie Brown is doing for the first time here against the defending national champs. It is not an easy task, and emotions can quickly get to you. It can feel really big. You can feel the pressure and the expectations, but she has just handled it beautifully.
Only her 3rd ball one to 17 batters. Comes back with a low strike to Altmaier. Altmaier had an 8-pitch at bat her first time, flied out to left. Sun Devils have the top of the order. Wendell, Pond, and Swan. Due up in the 5th. Big bats as they have been knocking on the door time and again this game. 2-2.
Let's go. You got it, Warren. Come on.
First team All-American a year ago, the Big 12 tournament MVP, a first team All Big 12 pitcher. Kenzie Brown in the circle. This is high, and Altmaier has run the count full. It's the first 3-ball count of the game for Kenzie Brown. The 8-hitter Altmaier ready for a 3-2. And she takes the first walk of the game. Longhorns get another base runner in the bottom 3rd. Game 1, the Longhorns were 1 for 8 with 2 outs. 6 2-out RBIs in game 2 and 3. All 6 of their runs coming with 2 outs. Nichols down to shortstop. Ulrich just barely got her. Mike White's looking across the way to see if Nichols thinks he should challenge. And Mike is going to wander back toward the dugout. No challenge coming. The top of the card due up for Arizona State in a 2-0 game. There will be a third former champion of the field. The winner of this series will join Alabama and UCLA at the Women's College World Series. Nebraska and Tennessee have been there a lot. Texas Tech for a second time, all seeking their first title. Jordy, Carlin, and Nyjah will be in the circle in Arkansas and Mississippi State. Congratulations, those teams out of the SEC. First time ever to OKC. And how about that statistic popping off the scorebook? Does that blow your mind? 2007. It's been almost 2 decades since we had a World Series without Florida or Oklahoma, both of whom lost decisive Game 3s today. Oklahoma the first time since 2015 that Patty Gasso's wrecking ball of a program has not been there. They're shut out by Mississippi State. And Florida got run ruled today, speaking of wrecking balls, 16-7 to Texas Tech in what had to be as wild a game as you'll ever see. Emotionally, offensively in a super regional. So one of these teams is going to join them, but what a strange field this is. You only have 2 national champs at the moment. Again, the winner of this will be a third. But the 2 national champions that have made it, UCLA and Alabama, they're going to play each other on day 1.
That's true. That's going to be a good one.
Tanya Wendell leading off here in the 5th, and she checks one foul, 2-2.
Well, we've been saying for a month or 2 now that it has just felt like this season is wide open for who wants to win a national championship, that there's not been a clear-cut favorite. It's like, oh, they're definitely supposed to win it.
Maybe it'll be one of these teams without a top 16 national seed. Arizona State still fighting here at the top of the card. Wendell chases and misses, strike 3. And Kavan, facing the top of the order for a 3rd time, gets a critical strikeout.
She's been able to get strikeouts on her rise ball and now her drop ball. I mean, that drop ball never was going to be a strike, and she gets Wendell to chase it. Great job of Atwood keeping that pitch in front to be able to secure the out at 1.
Kaylee Pondnow has hit the ball really hard twice, but she's got nothing to show for it. You hit the ball 65 and up in softball. That's considered a hard hit. Pond's first inning lineout was measured at 81 miles per hour. Nearly ripped off the glove of Ashton Maloney. She grounded out to first her next time. Ground ball to second here. Good with another short hop pitch. She's been absolutely nails at second in this Super Regional.
That is not an easy play at all made by Good. She made it look easy. Great glove work, getting the short hop. Great read off the bat. What an important second out with the top of the order up in this inning for ASU.
Means Sam Swan does not represent the tying run. 2 quick at-bats and 2 groundouts. Swan chases a rise ball.
And they've pitched her differently today in both the games. She's had RBIs. She has been so hot in the NCAA tournament. 9 RBIs total. She had a couple of 1-2 count RBIs in game 1.
Popped up on the infield. Nichols ends a 1-2-3 inning. It took just 9 pitches for Cavan to carve up the top of the order. They're up 2-0 with 6 outs to go, the defending national champs. That Texas Tech had never made the World Series, as you said before, last year, and they're going to face a team that has never made it. Mississippi State, that'll be one of the day one matchups at the World Series. Winner of this game gets Tennessee. The other side, Alabama versus UCLA, Arkansas, and Nebraska. All 4 of these series ended in sweeps. On the other half of the bracket, 3 of the 4 series going to Game 3, including this one. Caden Henry against Kenzie Brown, and Henry chases strike 1. So the winner of this matchup gets the Tennessee Lady Vols in Oklahoma City on Thursday. Game time still to be announced. We have maybe the 3 biggest name pitchers in the sport, depending on if you want to put Tegan Kavan in that category, she certainly could be after winning the most outstanding player a year ago. Henry's bunt is nearly caught by a flailing swan. You could have called that a swan dive if you were so keen. It's 0-2. But think about the stars that have been built up over the last 4 years, and in the case of Jordy Fromm, 5 with her injury. Jordy Fromm back to the World Series with Nebraska. Carlin Pickens, #1 pick in the AUSL draft, back with Tennessee. Nyjah Kennedy, 2nd pick in the draft, 4th trip to the World Series. Nyjah and Jordy have now been there, or will have been there, with 2 different teams. And maybe Tegan Kavan joins them, though Arizona State's trying to stop that. But we came into this season and said, this is the year of the pitcher, the senior pitcher. Star power like we've rarely seen before in this sport. And all 3 of these players, Amanda, will end their career in Oklahoma City.
It's going to be so cool to see all 3 of those faces take the field at the Women's College World Series and end their career on that field. Maybe one of them will win it.
Ground ball through the middle. Caden Henry's got a leadoff knock in the Texas 5th. Henry on base for a 2nd time today.
Do we think the Texas Tech game versus Florida today maybe set a record for pitching changes made in one super regional game? I don't know if we track that, but
I think pitchers being pulled out of the stands at some point. Yeah. It was 7-7 after 2. Taylor Panel homered in back-to-back innings. Jackie Liss homered in back-to-back innings. Texas Tech, after getting run ruled yesterday, run rules the Gators today. Here's Katie Stewart. Has both RBIs in the game.
They worked her low and away and off speed in her first at bat and actually struck her out. Pitched her really tough, low and away, and then went hard in on the first pitch with the rise ball, and that's where she got the 2 RBIs. She got jammed, but floated it out to the outfield trying to work her hard in. If you go in against Katie Stewart, you have to go hard in, because if you leave it out over the middle of the plate or a ball on the plate, she will punish it to the left side.
Well, Kaylee Pond, you see where she is in center now. She was deeper than that on Stewart's last swing, a little floating 2-run single. And Pond has made the adjustment. She probably would catch that same ball now. But you see a lot of fielders basically go as far as they can to the wall. They'd play in the graduate student housing if they could in left field typically. Katie Stewart has 27 home runs and has broken multiple windows on that graduate student housing building in left field. 1-2 from Kenzie Brown to her.
What's the difference in the game right now that Kaylee Pond was unable to make that play in the outfield? Hit off of her glove. It would have been a great play, but she had a chance to make a play on that ball off of Stewart's bat. And then, again, you turn it around for Altmaier in left field, made the great play in the outfield.
A junior from Illinois, ready for a 2-2. It's way up high. And it's 3-2 on Stewart. Henry at first, nobody out in the 5th.
Katie Stewart has talked this year about her mental approach being better. She's been calmer at the plate, not as worried about stats and results. She knew her mental game needed to get better coming into this year, and she has worked hard on it through her junior season.
Ready for another 3-2, and she takes strike 3. Right around the corner, and Brown's 5th strikeout, a big one to keep Stewart off base.
Kenzie Brown is still able to get underneath that outside pitch. Looks like a curve ball, could be a low rise ball there on the outer corner of the plate, but again, she gets the lower half of the zone and gets the corner against a home run hitter in Stewart.
Strikes out Stewart for a 2nd time. Here's Viviana Martinez, who's seen only 3 pitches and hits the 4th one she sees just out of play. The big difference for Texas this year versus last is they have Vivi Martinez back. She missed last year due to a knee injury. She said the hardest part about returning was the high expectation she had for herself, and it was frustrating to compare herself to 2 years ago. Had to take time to build up and get healthy, had to learn to let go of expectations, but she has looked every bit the part, slid right back into the middle of the order at the end of the season. Remember, she set a freshman RBI record in 2023 as a two-time All-Big 12 player who hit .397 in the SEC this year.
Tegan Cavan told us that last year Vivi was the best at being everyone's biggest fan while she was rehabbing. She said now she's still everyone's biggest cheerleader. She just gets to contribute too, so we get to cheer for her just as much.
A sweet swinging shortstop who has brought the energy on and off the field. Her dad Victor was in the Mariners minor leagues for 6 years, pro baseball player. And Vivi said that's where her smooth swing comes from. Two in, two to Martinez. Henry still at first.
Yeah, it's hard to think back to last season, Kevin, and the fact that Vivi Martinez was not on the field at shortstop for Texas when they won a national championship. Such a pivotal part of their offensive lineup, of course, what she's able to do defensively and the range that she has, and they still won it all despite that.
Going to see a 6-pitch here from Kenzie Brown. Gets a piece. This ball squibbed on the line. It's going to sit on the line and then roll foul. And a good thing it did because Caden Henry was making a beeline for home.
That was...
That's hitting on 17 right there.
A centimeter away. Caden Henry did not stop. Nobody was covering home. So while ASU was watching and hoping that this ball was going to roll foul, look at Caden Henry. She motors on over to second. She keeps going to third. Nobody is covering home right now. Kenzie Brown and Swan are right there. Home is wide open. If that would have been a fair ball, it would have been a run for Texas easy.
Instead, a 7th pitch to Martinez.
These are just such better at-bats off of Kenzie Brown than in Game 1. In Game 1, they were some pretty quick outs in that complete game that Kenzie Brown threw. She only threw 94 pitches in Game 1. She's already at 84 here in the bottom of the 5th.
They fouled off 9 pitches in the inning, the 3 Texas hitters. And Martinez makes it 10. Think about how long Vivi Martinez has been on the scene. She committed to Mike White when he was still the coach at Oregon. Such a young commit at the time. Mike White now in his 8th year at Texas. Vivi in her 4th year at Texas. Changed her commitment when Mike White changed teams. She's going to see a 9th pitch here. 2 and 2 from Brown. It remains. And 2 and 2, it will remain.
Kenzie Brown's getting frustrated. You can see it with her body language as Vivi is just continuing to spoil these pitches. Foul ball before, she had kind of fisted her glove with her pitching hand, like, oh, it was so close to getting her out there. Another one spoiled. They're really making her work under this hot Texas heat. So humid.
Seen 9 pitches, fouled off 7 this at-bat. Another 2-2, the 10th pitch coming. Fouled off again. What is it like as a pitcher, not just to labor an at-bat like this, but on a day like this feels like 90 plus?
So frustrating. And just mentally, you're trying to stay in it. You don't want to make a mistake. You're trying to figure out what you can throw to get her out this time. What can miss a barrel? I'd like to see her go up and in on the hands.
Down and away instead.
She was trying to get there, though. I think that was supposed to be a rise ball. That was further up. It just missed a little bit low.
Still where you want to go if you're Brown?
I'd bring that same pitch back to her, but just in the spot that it's supposed to be. Rise ball up and in on the hands. Vivi has such quick hands, though, on the inner half. In has to be in.
7 straight foul balls. Another one. You're going to run out of phone battery if you keep recording this at bat, my friend. 8 two-strike foul balls. 8 pitches in a row fouled away. Pitch number 13 on the way. It's high. They're on their feet in burnt orange here at McCombs for the 14th pitch to Martinez. Fouled away again.
It's so frustrating if you're Kenzie Brown. And if you're Vivi Martinez, you are hanging on by a thread with a lot of these foul balls.
15th pitch of this at-bat. We've had plenty of innings shorter than this at-bat. Kenzie Brown threw 18 pitches in the first 2 innings. Her 15th to Martinez alone. Swing and a foul ball. This is insane. 10 two-strike foul balls.
I try to go low and in with the drop ball at this point.
Pitch number 16, I think.
She's covering the outer half. I mean, she's covering just about everything, but I do feel like the one pitch we haven't seen is a 68-mile-an-hour drop ball inside to Vivi. We've seen the rise ball in the outer half. We've seen a changeup inside, rise ball out of the zone. My goodness.
Why hasn't she tried to throw that?
I don't know. Maybe we'll see it here.
The 17th pitch of this epic battle. Fair! Down the line and right. Henry blazing to third. Henry on the way home. Martinez heading for third, where she is safe. Vivi Martinez wins the Austin Marathon. A 17-pitch triple. It's 3-0.
This is just a prime example of Texas fight within an at-bat by Martinez. Gets an off-speed pitch. That was 60 miles an hour more up in the zone, and Vivi just hammers it 73 miles an hour off the bat. It finds a hole, and it just rolls. An RBI, a triple. My goodness, it got the crowd involved in that one. They were all pulling for her and made Kenzie Brown just absolutely work up to 93 pitches now.
You watch this sport because every game you can see something you've never seen before. And if any of you have ever seen a 17-pitch at-bat end in a triple, we'd really like to hear about it. Viviana Martinez's first triple since Game 3 of the Super Regionals in 2024. And Kenzie Brown departs maybe for the final time. The All-American at Arizona State will turn it over to Mika Lupi in a 3-0 game. After that 17-pitch marathon at bat, Kenzie Brown runs out of gas here in the 5th. Mika Lupi comes on. 1 unearned run only in 4+ innings yesterday, and she'll face Reese Atwood with Martinez at third, trying to keep this a 3-run game.
And Mika Lupi has gotten a lot of experience here late in the season, being a very strong number 2 pitcher behind Kenzie Brown. They've thrown her in the Big 12 tournament. They threw her in the College Station Regional as well on Sunday against Texas A&M. She got the start to go for the win to get here to Supers.
Reese Atwood gets jammed and fouls one away. He's trying to follow a 17-pitch at-bat with 1 pitch at-bat. Incredible stuff from Vivi Martinez. 17 pitches to her. We've had 9 previous half innings in the game. 5 of those 9 half innings were less than 17 pitches, and one of them was exactly 17. A 17-pitch at-bat ends in a triple.
And that has to be one of the best at-bats I've ever seen. Postseason, regular season, conference, doesn't matter. One of the best at-bats I have ever seen.
I think everybody who's here and everybody who's watching will probably agree with you. And the player who missed all of last year as well, Atwood, to the first base dugout. It's 1-2.
Well, now Mika Lupi is going to come in and just give a different look than what Kenzie Brown did. She's going to be more down the zone. Curveball and drop ball are her best pitches. Throws with good velocity, 68, 69, 70 miles an hour, but she's much more down in the zone than what you saw from Brown.
Swing and a miss. She gets Atwood. She goes up in the zone there. Might have thrown Reese off balance as Lupi picks up a critical second out. Remember, this is still a great Arizona State offense. 99 home runs are tied for the second most in Sun Devil history. 7 runs a game, 20th in the country. They only have 6 outs left, but 3 runs, obviously a very manageable task for them. So if Lupi can keep it at 3, it'll feel like a win for ASU. Leanne Good, 0 for 2 in the game, 0 for 8 with a walk in the Supers. And a strike, 1-1.
Well, and we know, and we've seen this postseason, that no lead is big enough. So that's another reason that Vivi Martinez at bat was so important, because it led to a Texas run. And against these big offenses, explosive offenses we've seen all across the country, you're just never out of a game.
Good thinking about a 2-out bunt try. You mean on a day where we saw a 16-7 game, you don't think any lead is big enough?
By the same team that had a 8-run comeback in regionals with 2 outs in the 7th inning?
Yep.
Yeah, no lead's big enough for sure.
UCLA, 200-plus home runs on the year. They scored 14 yesterday. These two teams can swing it. It's just been a series that's been largely dominated by the pitching. But things can change in an Austin minute. Swing and a miss by Good. Lupi carving here out of the bullpen. She struck out Atwood. She's got a 2-2 count on Good. And Mike White's coming down to talk to Leanne Good.
Which we saw him do with Reese Atwood as well in yesterday's game. Texas was down. Reese Atwood was up to bat. She was pressing a little bit. You could see it in her shoulders. She got down to a 1-2 count. And then after the Mike White timeout, just like this, Reese Atwood had an RBI that was able to tie up the game.
We asked Mike before today's game what he said to Reese, and he said it really wasn't much. Just wanted her to relax, wanted her not to make too much of the moment. You see Mike had a smile on his face as he tried to loosen up Reese. It worked. And we'll see if his words of wisdom ring true for Good. And a good swing off there. Texas has now fouled off 20 pitches in this inning. They've had 5 batters, and they fouled off 20 pitches. Good in the air, right center field, and Mejia comes on to make the catch. Vivi Martinez with the at-bat maybe of all of the super regionals across college. Your triple makes it 3-0. We are just 4 days away from returning to Oklahoma City and the Women's College World Series, where Texas will look to defend its title if they can finish this game off. It all begins Thursday at noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, live on ESPN, right there at wonderful Devon Park. For more information on the 2026 Women's College World Series, visit NCAA.com, the official home for all NCAA championships. That little girl, a Texas fan, says, "One day I'll be on this field." How wonderful is that?
It looks like it's the back of her being at the Women's College World Series. I mean, maybe one day she'll be at this field and then that field.
Fouled almost right back to the booth by Ashley Mejia. Arizona State is trying to get back to that field. Only 6 teams, 6 programs have been to the World Series more than Arizona State. 12 trips, none since 2018. They have 6 outs to save their season. Tegan Cavan against the cleanup hitter, Ashley Mejia. How do you think Cavan spent the last nearly half hour, Amanda? Because that's her first pitch in 26 minutes.
Yeah, it's been a while. I was wondering if she had gone down there to throw. It's hard to see at the bullpen, or hard to see what's going on in the bullpen, but it's a warm day. She's thrown a lot of pitches in the month of May. I'm sure she stayed pretty warm, even if she did not throw any pitches in the bullpen.
At what point during that inning do you start to throw more for a pitcher?
Probably at pitch number 12 of Vivi's at bat.
12 out of 17. And he is 0 for 2. And Mejia takes strike 2.
It's going to be up to Arizona State in these last 6 outs that they're working with to not chase. You see a pitch around the zone like that last one that Mejia just took in a hitter's count to put his swing on it. They've been chasing more as this game has gone on with 2 strikes.
The sophomore Sun Devil Mejia will ground one foul. Katie Chester and Emily Shep, 2 juniors to follow. Arizona State won the opening game 4-1, led 2-0 going into the 5th inning yesterday. From that point forward, Texas has outscored them 7-1. Only Sam Swan solo homer in the last 9 innings for ASU. Tegan's 2-2, and Mejia puts it in the air to shallow left and Altmaier. 1 out in the 6th.
It's amazing that we just continue to see these comebacks for Tegan Cavan. There's even been several times this season where she started a game, got pulled, and then came back to come in relief and looked like a completely different pitcher. And with the way that she has pitched in Game 3 here today, she has been sharper, she has been locked in, much better than in Game 1 and Game 2.
Off the end of the bat of Chester to second. Good is there, and Chester is retired. The top 5 hitters in the Arizona State lineup are a combined 1 for 15. The one was a Tanya Windle single to start the game.
And Arizona State, remember before yesterday's game, was on a 10-game win streak. I think that they were riding the highs and the momentum, and they had just had some comebacks and scored a lot of runs, but you could really feel them be deflated late in the game against Texas yesterday. And I kind of feel like that's carried into today's game. And this is when experience is such a big thing to have. Game 3, Super Regional, going up against a team that has a ton of it, and you just have never experienced it yourself here before.
A strike on Shep. Tegan Cavan on the World Series All-Tournament team as a freshman, the World Series most outstanding player last year. 6 games, 6 wins, no earned runs allowed at the World Series last year. Gets a ground ball to third. It backs up Nichols. Her high throw pulls Stewart off the bag. A miscue on the infield for Texas. J.C. Nichols with a high throw, and her counterpart Emily Shep reaches with 2 down.
It's a tough hop for Nichols to decide which one she wanted to play, and then she knew she was going to have to rush that throw a little bit because that ground ball took a little extra time to get to her and maybe slipped out of her hand on a hot, sweaty day like this, but does that open the door for ASU here?
Cavan had retired the last 6. Now Acuna. Acuna had seen 2 pitches and had 2 hits. Had a single to left and that crazy pop-up triple to right, and Texas plays her pretty much straight up this time.
Yeah, her first at bat, or excuse me, her last at bat in the 4th inning, Texas had a big shift. Right field was completely open, and she just blooped one over there and got herself to third base.
One of 7 seniors for the Sun Devils, Yanixa Acuna. A senior from Tucson whose older sister Yanira used an extra year of eligibility to play with Yanixa in 2023. And a younger Acuna ending this long run of Sun Devil softball for these sisters. Wanting to extend her career, keep the family name going. If she reaches, she'd bring up Brooklyn Ulrich, another Arizona kid, as the tying run. It'll be a 2-2 from Tegan Cavan. It's popped up foul. One of their best power hitters, Ulrich, awaits. As Arizona State still have some spark in their bats. Acuna lifts one to the right side. That ball will land foul off the glove of Stewart.
It's pretty much an exact replica of what her triple looked like, except it landed just barely fair and out of the reach of Leanne Good, and that one was just barely foul. But if you're wondering what her triple looked like, it looked like that, except the outfield was completely shifted toward the left side.
Where do you go here if you're Cavan?
Low and away with her rise ball. Or up and in, you know, complete opposite. But what makes Tegan Cavan's rise ball so good is her ability to throw it in the 4 different quadrants. When you think rise ball maybe is just a fan who's watching this game and you just don't watch that much, maybe you think of a rise ball only at eye high or above a hitter's head, but Tegan Cavan can throw her rise ball at each of the 4 different quadrants in the zone and get a swing and miss.
Overshot that one. It's 3-2 for Cunha. One more of those, and Arizona State will bring up the tying run. The scrappy, scruffy, sparky Sun Devils. Not a tournament lock a few weeks ago. Now oh so close to the World Series. 3-2. Acuna fouls it away. And Yaya Acuna is going to work her at bat in the double-digit pitches. She will see a 10th from Tegan Cavan. 4 harder outs to get for Texas. A 3-2 coming. Off the fist to second. Good with a flip, just barely in time. Went the short way to get Shep and end the Arizona State threat. Still 3-0 to the bottom of the 6th.
The NCAA Softball Super Regionals are presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet?
They may be an SEC team, Matt, but what an underdog story this is. First time ever an Oklahoma shutout for the first time in 7 years. That's right, 7 years. 2,548 days since Oklahoma was last shut out, and it happens against a pitcher, Delaney Everett, who came into this weekend having pitched 12 innings on the year. Throws her first complete game today. And if folks saw what happened at the end of the game, you have Delaney Everett, who said it was her parents' anniversary today, and her father had passed away before the start of last season. She had shoulder surgery in December. You can't even dream this kind of stuff. And that's what college softball has brought us this year. Congratulations to Delaney. You know, we looked at the game today, we're going, all right, is it going to be Peja Gould or Alyssa Faircloth, 2 All-American potentials? Sam Ricketts had other ideas, and the stars were aligned for Delaney Everett to deliver the game of her life and the biggest win in the history of Mississippi State softball. Hannah Wells, a bouncing ball. Shep can't play the short hop, and Wells is aboard to start the Texas 6th, with the Longhorns on the verge of a return trip to the World Series.
Tough ball to handle, but it's just a play that needs to be made, especially at this point in the game. More of a short hop. Remember, Emily Shep is a catcher by design, but moving over there because of injuries, then shuffling around the infield for Arizona State. They've been a team that has had a lot of adversities when it's come to injuries this season, and Shep, not an everyday third baseman before entering this season.
Dea Wallace replaces her as a pinch runner. Wells. That goes down as an E5. Second error by Shep in the Super Regional. Ashton Maloney out of play. Mika Lupi pitching for Arizona State. Kenzie Brown, 4 1/3, 6 hits, 3 earned, walk 1, struck out 5. And Brown's day ended after a 17 pitch at bat with Viviana Martinez, which finished off with an RBI triple. Was one of the longest at-bats in the country. In fact, the 5th at-bat in all of Division I this season to go 17 pitches or more, and the only at-bat in the country to go 17-plus pitches and end in a hit.
It's so good. What a
Preposterous.
stat.
Preposterous. Thanks to our research team for digging out that gem. Slapped into left by Maloney. That's an out.
Well, that's just an example to me of Texas's at-bats today. They have really made the pitchers for Arizona State work, and they've scraped across 3 runs that just feel like 8 runs at this point in the game, with Arizona State's bats just going really quiet. I mean, this has been now 8 innings that they have not scored, and the last time that there were 8 or more innings for Arizona State's offense to go scoreless goes back to the Texas Tech series at the end of April. So on this run, this win streak that they've been on, all on the road, by the way, after that Texas Tech series, they were all on the road for their last Big 12 series and the Big 12 tournament and then regionals, and now here, their offense has absolutely been on fire, but it has gone cold here in the Super.
Kaya Altmaier lines one to the left side and fair. Wallace, the pinch runner, up to second on a base hit by Altmaier. She's been a spark plug since being inserted into the lineup yesterday. She's been on base twice today, and the Longhorns have a rally cooking.
And look at her stay on this outside pitch. Gets her barrel up to it and just stays on top of it. This is a pitch that is left up. Mika Lupi more down in the zone type pitcher with her drop and curve. And Altmaier, loving that she sees one more up in the zone. Line drive to the left side. She struck that well.
Michael White's going to use a pinch hitter, not the one from yesterday. They'll keep Vic Hunter on the bench with the lead and let Katie Bennett bat for J.C. Nichols. Senior with only her second at-bat of the NCAA tournament. Struck out in the regional round. Was a starter last year on the title team. Well, Nichols went 1 for 2. Bennett bats for her, trying to extend this 3-0 Longhorn lead. Strike 2 from Lupi. Texas hosting a Super Regional for the 7th time. They've advanced to the World Series in 5 of the first 6 appearances as a Super Regional host. The only time they hosted and didn't advance, they were eliminated by Mike White's Oregon Ducks in 2012. Strike 3 called, and the pinch hitter Bennett is down looking.
Getting every single inch and then some off this outside corner. Lupi is, Bennett takes that, thinking it's going to be a ball off the plate, and Lupi gets the call. Again, Swan has been working the lower part of the zone for both Brown and Lupi. She's been a great receiver.
First pitch swing by Henry. Arizona State will have Ulrich, Ho-Ching, and Wendell. 8-9-1. Well, it's a pretty good 8-9 coming up. Kaylee Pond, the 6-year senior, hoping for one more at bat. And then Sam Swan after that. Another low strike. It's 0-2. And it will be Tegan Cavan, World Series most outstanding player from a year ago, trying to send Texas right back there. One more spot left to fill in the World Series bracket. A bracket peppered with SEC teams, and another one is in the driver's seat. Four SEC teams in the World Series right now: Alabama, Arkansas, Tennessee, Mississippi State for the first time. 2 from the Big Ten, Nebraska, UCLA, 1 from the Big 12, Texas Tech. And it'll be Big 12 or SEC here. The Big 12 tournament champs in Arizona State, trying to make it for the 13th time. The SEC tournament champs in Texas, trying to make it for a 9th time for a 3rd straight year. And trying to defend their champ in OKC. Another 0-2 for Henry.
Again, just thinking about how tough it is to lose game 1 and win a super regional, and that's been the history here at Texas of going down in game 1 under Mike White. He has never won a game 1 here as the head coach at Texas.
Henry, Squibber, she runs so well, there's going to be no chance for Lupe. Infield single for Henry, who's been on 3 out of 4 times. And Texas loads the bases for Katie Stewart.
I'd call a timeout here if I was ASU to make sure 100% we were on the same page, or Ho-Ching is going to come talk to Lupe, but 3-0 is one thing against Texas head into the 7th. It could quickly be 7-0.
The on-deck hitter is a potential run rule. I mean, I know it's 3-0, but the margins are that thin. First pitch. Katie to right center field. She blistered it. Down for a hit in front of Mejia. 2 more score. 4 RBIs for Stewart, and Texas has some big-time breathing room.
And all 4 of Katie Stewart's RBIs have come off of a first pitch swing, trying to work her on the inner half, and it's just not in enough. She stayed inside of that so well. Her other one, she got jammed for a couple of RBIs, but this one was 75 miles an hour off the bat. Adds a couple of big-time insurance runs, and exactly what Texas needed here late in this game.
Now a Martinez home run would end the game and end the Super Regional. Mike White is, I think, going to take a timeout here to make a substitution. He will pinch run for Katie Stewart. And Katie will head to the dugout to a hero's welcome. 4 RBIs, as you mentioned, on first pitch swings, and even yesterday, her RBI double was a first pitch swing. So all 5 ribbies, first pitch rips for Stewart, who's got 72 RBIs in 58 games. A 1-0 to Viviana Martinez. Pinch runner Taylor Anderson at first for Stewart.
It just really feels like, Kevin, that pinch hit 2-run home run by Vic Hunter was such a big blow for Arizona State to take. I just don't feel like they've been able to come back from that swing.
There goes Anderson to second. She'll take a steal. From the moment that ball left Kenzie Brown's hand, that pinch hit home run you're talking about for Hunter, Texas has scored the last 7 runs.
Maybe get a check to see if she left early here.
Arizona State is challenging that the possibility the runner left early at first base on the pitch is now under review.
Nothing to lose with this challenge try here. First challenge of the game for either team. We'll see if Taylor Anderson, the pinch runner, left before Mika Lupi released the pitch.
Be on time to me. Perfect. You can see there the ball left her hand and her toe is still on the base. Great timing, actually, with that lead.
So remember, Viviana Martinez, who has 3 home runs this year, can end the Super Regional. She hits a home run, it's an 8-0 lead. It's an 8-run lead after the 5th inning. And Texas can walk off to Oklahoma City. If not, Tegan Cavan will come back out for the top of the 7th and look to complete the shutout. Kenzie Brown only a spectator at this point.
After review, the runner at first base did not leave early. This call is confirmed, and this is Arizona State's first challenge.
We've had 4 of the 7 teams run rule their way to the World Series. Can Texas make it 5 out of 8? 2-1 for Martinez. Reese Atwood would be next. And she started to swing. She did not, and she did not get a piece of the ball either, so it's 3-1. Megan Bartlett, I think, is asking if that was a foul tip. Scott Mary has no interest in that discussion. So 3-1 to Vivi Martinez off that 17-pitch RBI triple. And she will take ball 4. And now the winning run is at first. And Reese Atwood, in what will surely be her final at-bat at McCombs Field, has a chance to do something truly special. So many memorable moments for Reese Atwood over the years here on the 40 acres. Walk-off hits and big swings galore. First pitch is up and away off the glove of Swan, and the runners will hold. Career at McCombs Field, 4 walk-off hits and 38 of Reese Atwood's 73 career home runs. Nobody in the history of this program has hit more homers or driven in more runs than Reese Atwood. And it was her RBI on an attempted intentional walk against Nyjah Kennedy that gave Texas the win in the Champ Series Game 1 last year. Atwood swings away and fouls off a strike after Katie Chester came in for a chat with Mika Lupi.
Well, Reese Atwood, to me, seems like the type of player that is well aware that this is going to be looking like the last time she's going to step into this box here at this home field. Always soaking it up, wanting to make the most of this AB.
1-1 pitch. On the ground and foul, it's 1-2. She told us a couple of years ago she's only ever played catcher because, in her words, I can't really field a ground ball. Was not a huge recruit, studied Aubrey Monroe, studied Brian McCann, the longtime Atlanta Braves catcher. Texas, the first major Division I school to show interest. Grew up a ranch kid here in the state, dreaming of playing for the Longhorns. A 1-2 for her. On the ground to second base. And that will end the inning. There will be no run rule for Texas here, but the Longhorns are 3 outs away from a return engagement at the World Series. It's time for today's Capital One rewarding performance.
Well, it's got to be Tegan Cavan, and she has had a lot of these rewarding performances in the postseason for Texas with the way that she just continues to spin these pitches up and down in the zone. They needed her to step up and get a quality start. Her best start of the Super Regional is right here in Game 3 with the season and OKC on the line.
5 innings, 4 runs on Friday, 2 innings, 2 runs yesterday, 6 innings, no runs today. 3 outs from the World Series. Cavan gets a strike on Brooklyn Ulrich, one of 2 seniors guaranteed to bat in the inning for Arizona State. A sophomore, Tiare Ho-Ching, is next, then a senior in Tanya Wendell. This is one of those kids in Brooklyn Ulrich who grew up dreaming of Sun Devils softball. Her 5th and final college year has led her here across the country from Mesa to Marshall and Huntington, West Virginia for 4 years. 7 games, 1 plate appearance as a freshman in a mid-major school. And in her final year, a big-time contributor, power hitter, and defender for Arizona State. A pop-up from Ulrich toward the line and into the glove of Martinez. One away in the 7th. What a strange feeling this must be for Megan Bartlett, who was last on this field as an assistant 4 years ago. A Texas team that did not have a national seed and stormed their way to the Champ Series. That helped get her this job. Ho-Ching is hit by a pitch from Cavan, and Arizona State gets a 1-out base runner. You think about Megan Bartlett in this series, going against Mike White, a coach who she said changed her life, who plucked her out of a head coaching job at Ball State, was a head coach at a low major school. Ground ball foul here from Tanya Wendell. And this is the photo that Megan Bartlett shared with us that she texted Mike White. That was her, Mike White. Steve Singleton, who was a Texas assistant, is just off to the side. That was in Seattle when they started this crazy run in 2022 to the regionals in Washington. Texted him that this week with some words of love for Mike White. He responded. They have a wonderful relationship, those two. And she said when you come to Austin, they tell you you're going to be excellent. You're going to compete for national championships as an assistant, and then they're going to send you off. And that's exactly what happened. Out of play from Wendell, still 0-2.
Well, and she was well aware how difficult of a task that this was going to be. Coming into Austin, playing against the defending national champs, the number 2 overall national seed, and I mean, ASU just offensively is just run out of gas. But I mean, they still have a couple of outs to play with, and no lead is too big here.
A senior from Peoria, Tanya Wendell, told the Speak of the Devils Arizona State podcast that when she went to Utah Tech, she had a whiteboard and she would write down how many days until I can go to ASU. She put her name in the portal. She got an email at 7 a.m. from Arizona State, and she fell to the floor crying. 0-2 for her. Wendell strikes out. Could be the end of an incredible decorated career for her. And Arizona State has an out left in its season. It's going to be a 6th-year senior in Kaylee Pond, kid who's been through 3 torn ACLs. From Cavan. Strike 1.
the senior class is always going to be remembered as the class that got Arizona State back on track, back one win away from the Women's College World Series. To be so proud of what they've invested into this program to get them back here.
Pond rips it out of play. And there is one strike left in this magical Sun Devils run. One strike left for that return trip for Texas. That 5.5-hour drive north that they know so well. The 100th pitch for Kavan is grounded through the right side, and Kaylee Pond, the 6th-year senior, picks up a base hit to keep Sun Devil hopes alive.
Well, and they should feel alive with the home run hitters now coming up to the plate. Again, they have one out to play with, and Swan has been their hottest hitter in the NCAA tournament. It's not going to make it easy on Tegan Kavan. Of course, they're going to show some fight here. Middle of the order coming up. This is a team that has hit 99 home runs as a team.
Corey Shull, a pinch runner, out at second. Reese Atwood wants one more conversation with Tegan Kavan. And for a moment there, it looked like Samantha Swan's home run in the 5th inning might be the swing we remember from this series last night. Gave Arizona State a 3-2 lead. They have not scored since. And Swan, who drove in 5 runs in the first 2 games, went 4 for 6 with a walk, is hitless today. 0-1 from Kavan to Swan. Popped up. Atwood searching. Atwood cannot make the catch. Another reprieve for Arizona State, but once again they have just one strike to play with. Here's the 0-2. They are just not going to go down easy, are they? The first team ever to beat the top 3 seeds to win the Big 12 tournament. Swept through Texas A&M in the College Station Regional. Took game 1 here in Austin. Another 0-2 from Tegan Kavan. On the ground and foul.
Do not let Swan's size fool you either. Standing at just 5'3", one of the strongest players on this team. A lot of pop in her bat. 12 home runs in the season.
A lot of family in the stands from just up the road in Georgetown, Texas, trying to keep the season alive. Swan pops it up. Foul ground, out of play again. She's fouled off 3 straight pitches after falling behind 0-2. Texas on the brink. The 6th pitch to Swan. It's popped up to third, and the Texas Longhorns will defend their title at the World Series. For the 3rd straight year, Texas will play at the Women's College World Series. The freshman J.C. Nichols squeezed the final out as Tegan Kavan and Texas have a date with Tennessee Thursday, and they will head a few hours up the road, 5.5 to be specific. A chance to go back-to-back awaits in Oklahoma City.
Well, and they absolutely, of course, wanted that chance to defend their title. Their motto this year, all in 626. That is a number of miles it is from right here at this field to Devon Park and Oklahoma City. Last year was Fuel the Fire. This year, all in 626. Wanting a chance to get back there and do it again.
Tegan Kavan The most outstanding player at the World Series last year is going to have a chance to do it again. She shuts out Arizona State. Her 14th career postseason win, and Tegan Cavan is with Alyssa Lang.
Tegan, 3 days, 2 wins. You're heading to Oklahoma City. How did you settle in throughout the course of the weekend?
My teammates and my coaches told me they believed in me every step of the way, and so I knew everybody in the bullpen and everyone in the dugout was going to have my back no matter what the outcome was, and so I owe it to them. Yeah.
Speaking of your dugout, you told us that Vivi Martinez is everyone's biggest cheerleader. When she went through that 17-pitch at-bat, what did that do for your team?
Oh my gosh, I think that sealed the deal right there. I mean, are you kidding me? That's incredible. Special players do that, and she's special.
When it comes to Reese, you've spent a lot of time with her. This was her last game here on this home field. What did it mean for you guys to get this win for her and the rest of your seniors?
It means the world. She deserves to end her season and end her college career in Oklahoma City. So it just means the world. I called that last time out because I wanted one last with her on this field, and so she's my best friend, and she deserves the world.
What'd you say to her in that last time out?
I just told her I wanted one more with her, and so just one more moment to soak it in on this field with her.
You have an opportunity now to go win another national championship. What did you learn from that run last year that you can take to Oklahoma City here in a few days?
That we're resilient, that we're going to do whatever it takes. It showed last Supers, it showed this Supers. We're resilient. Yeah.
Congratulations, Tegan.
Thank you so much.
How special is that, Alyssa? One more moment with Reese Atwood on this field. One more moment to send Texas to the World Series, and there you have it. Noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central at the World Series. Mississippi State, the Gate Crashers, Texas Tech, and then Tennessee and Texas, the national finalists. Texas and Texas Tech will start it during the day. Arkansas, Nebraska, and Alabama, UCLA at night. We absolutely cannot wait to bring you the World Series Thursday. Amanda Scarborough, I can't wait to be there with you Thursday, but we're going to hear from you shortly because SportsCenter is coming up next after a Texas takedown of Arizona State.